When you're looking for a big box or a clamshell VHS movie to watch from the collection, well, that's easy. You gotta go for the one that's got Caligula in the title. And the same VHS company, Transworld Entertainment, that put out Whitefire, Thunder Warrior, and the Master series. This will be fine entertainment. For this is Caligula, the Untold Story. That better not mean they're making things up. No, only director Joe D'Amato can give us the real gossip of Caligula's romance with an Egyptian slave girl sent to assassinate him. I love exploitation giant Joe D'Amato, especially how he looks exactly like you'd picture someone named Joe D'Amato who directed a Caligula knockoff. Plus, I know I'm gonna get quality historical accuracy, with it being co-written by George Eastman, star and co-writer of another D'Amato classic, Porno Holocaust. It's not even the only big box I have involving these two. I hope that Eastman wrote the script for this film in his anthropophagus makeup. But titles like these clearly have Caligula written all over it. How has it taken me so long to get to this movie? I watched Caligula 2 before this one, and that one didn't even have Caligula in it. That movie was filmed on the sets of Guccione's Caligula, with some of the same actors, yet with a box that looked like I quickly made a Caligula bootleg at Kinko's. And with the cheap DVD box of this movie, that one looks more like a sequel to D'Amato's. Hell, there's even other copies that also call this one Caligula 2. However, this box tells me he crossed a line most people dare not make, like selling this tape for $69.95. Well, I guess I understand it going for $69. Wait, price is slightly higher in Canada? Well, so much for me buying my Caligula knockoffs from Canada! The tape is less specific, as it's just called The Emperor. Again, that could be about anyone. Remember Caligula reincarnated as Hitler, which also had neither Caligula nor Hitler in it? This one, however, tells you exactly who Caligula is.
Gaius Caesar, the most depraved, cruel, and treacherous Roman emperor, popularly known as Caligula.
I'm watching Caligula, the Untold Story. Do I look like I'm here for a history lesson? The narration gets into why he's called Caligula and how he rose to power by killing Tiberius, but nothing about inventing giant head-chopping machines. He's having terrible dreams, which are foreshadowing the end of the movie, where he's chased down by a Roman slasher villain. Right away, the musical score is quite good, and with a memorable theme. Leave it to Carlo Maria CORDIO to perfectly score a knockoff movie. He also did the music for that one Troll 3, and then the other Troll 3, and Bruno Mattei's Terminator 2. Everyone here is trying to kill Caligula, whether it's someone in his dreams or someone in his room. But holy shit, it was cutting to the opening credits that came in and got the job done. Caligula is played by David Kane Houghton, a lot of times credited as David Brandon in his movies, and here is David Kane. And wait, directed by David Hills? Sure, Joe, I believe that as much as I believe George Eastman is Richard Franks. But back to the assassination attempt by the poet Domitius, who is clearly John Hurt wanting to steal the role for I Claudius. See, you shouldn't have waited for the opening credits. Then you could have killed them before he woke up. I love that Houghton plays the part like he's a 70s glam rocker. He is amazing in this film.
Cut the tendons in his arms and legs, and tear out his tongue.
Oh, don't you worry about the poet. That's Michele Soavi. This will inspire him to work more behind the camera, like when he directed The Church. Well, that was disturbing, seeing someone's tongue getting ripped out of their mouth. Nothing like a nice morning ride like a coffee commercial can't fix. It's where Caligula gets his Shakespeare on.
This is where it happens. Every night. The same dream.
Now, if you think he's getting too dramatic...
Fragments of human bodies scattered everywhere.
You're wrong. Caligula won all of the Tony Awards in 41 AD. He talks about everything like he's Conal Cochran explaining the history of Halloween to people. This may be some beautiful beach imagery, but I just have the feeling something terrible is gonna happen to these people. I'm guessing to the one named Livia. That's the name of Proculus's wife who Caligula took her virginity in the other movie. It won't fare better for her here.
What could be more exciting than a lamb ready for the sacrifice?
Mini corn dogs, Caesar. What? No, you idiot. Here, we don't have the budget for the wedding scene, so let's attack her and her lover in the woods. As they are known for just teleporting out of nowhere when people start banging against the trees. Yeah, that Guccione one was good and all, but what if Livia stabbed herself, her lover is bashed in the area behind his head, and Caligula blamed their deaths on Christian fanatics, who are then hunted in the streets like a giant game of Las Vegas grab-ass? I mean, duh. Everyone learned that in world history class, and when we come back, an important lesson about ass spears.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
I feel like I'm watching that Christian Twilight Zone knockoff, The Daylight Zone, again, only if it got a sequel and a bigger budget. And if the cast enjoyed a nice hot steam afterwards. There's multiple versions of the film, naturally, and this one has a lot of extra scenes that are in Italian, with some parts of the sequences still being in English.
They cut the tendons of his arms and legs and tore out his tongue.
Thanks for catching me up, Edward Mannix's voice. The story is still easy to follow, even in the Italian scenes. James Brolin and Alan from Return to Sleepaway Camp are vowing revenge on Caligula. While Caligula is still having nightmares, he's about to be shot by someone who has never handled a bow and arrow before. That is, when he's not being haunted by the ghosts of those he's killed. Never before has Aetius's shelly afro looked so heavenly and pure. Even in Livia's funeral scene, the Romans were known for their 70s as hell hairstyles. With D'Amato being in charge, of course it's sort of a Black Emmanuel revenge film, as Laura Gemser plays Miriam, who burns Livia to the god of vengeance. Something about the fire and that look of hate makes this one of her most intimidating performances. As for Caligula, it's just another normal day for him.
And on those terraces, we plan a number of swimming pools with many fountains.
Is the Emperor gonna turn into a llama or not? And where there's Laura Gemser, you know Gabriel Tinti is right around the corner, her real-life husband who co-starred in many films with her, including D'Amato's Emmanuel and the Last Cannibals, and Bruno Mattei's badass women's prison massacre. This whole movie is a who's who of exploitation movie actors who steal every scene of every movie they're in. Caligula wants an audition with a bunch of hot chicks, where they then toast to ripping off the scene where a senator, in jest, offers his life for Caligula's to be spared, combined with the scene where Caligula pretends to be poisoned. And the dialogue?
My wine is better guarded than your wife's private parts.
Nothing short of outstanding. With Houghton as lead, I feel like I now know what it would have been like if Tim Curry played Caligula. The lines are so poetic, he keeps the poet as, I don't know, a trophy or something. You may laugh now, but later he's gonna direct stage fright and get his revenge on you with a brutal death scene. Caligula even starts dangling hookers in front of him.
I warned you, Clitia.
I'm sorry, what's her name?
I warned you, Clitia.
Clitia? Okay, I'll give you Longinus from the other movie since that guy existed, but Clitia? That sounds like one of the fake names George suggested when Jerry's girlfriend's name rhymed with a female body part.
Bovary.
All right, that's enough.
But anyway, in the heaven scenes from Estes Perkel's The Believer's Heaven, the Romans are correctly putting a stop to this little cult before they get a chance to burn anything in a wicker man. While Caesar plays hide-and-go Marco Polo with a blindfold and feeling around for where them breasts at. God, when they start auditioning prostitutes, it looks like some fraternity put on a toga party and decided to reenact scenes from Pam Grier's Coffee for some reason. Not everyone, though, is hot enough to bang the senators.
No, you won't do it all. You'll make everyone vomit before dinner.
Rude!
I suppose I could use you for something, but not with the men.
With what?
Dogs and horses.
You should ask the dogs and horses permission first. I love that in these low-budget period pieces, the ruins were still the ruins even in historical times, with some random statues they put up. They don't have to change shit if they ever decided to make it post-apocalyptic. This movie is unpredictable. It's in the part where she offers her virginity to her god to grant her vengeance that really makes this a weird double feature with that TV romance she did with Michael Landon. Much like the Guccione movie, yes, there is a hardcore and softcore version, with the hardcore version running over 2 hours. Yet it's the music that catches my attention. Why does it sound like the Lassie theme? Please tell me she's not gonna bang a collie. You never know what's gonna happen at one of Caligula's private parties, which he clearly rented out the best room at the banquet hall for. If you're worried about the fluids the staff is gonna have to clean up afterwards, don't be. They'll accidentally burn the place down long before then. That'll also take care of the blood from these two fighting each other to the death. Hey! How dare you? This is not the shot in the face I was asking for when I came here. And you bastards, you got it all over my food, and I just soaked it with a golden shower. But it's up to Caligula to make the scene bloodier. And thus Rollerball was born. Say, nothing turns me on more than the power to order an execution with spike knuckles. Caligula knows no boundaries. It is love at first sight, even with her husband standing right there. Not everyone is interested in the orgy, though. Some just want to hang out and talk about the latest season of Cobra Kai, while avoiding Senator Hansy, who has had one too many. When Caligula saves her, he falls head over heels. Quite romantic, considering what happens next. It's probably for the best I don't show you the horse-banging scene. Between this and Joe's Emmanuel in America, what's with the horse scenes, bro? However, this kind of penetration... that I can show. When you forget your tickets to the orgy, you gotta kill the guard to sneak in through the back door. Then the rest of the scene feels like 10 minutes of deleted oral sex scenes from the Guccione movie. Like I'm supposed to be turned on and forget that I just saw Mr. Ed's dick. The extended orgy scene gives this guy more time to sneak in to assassinate Caesar while Miriam gets him alone. Some shots I forget he's supposed to be an emperor. He's written like some eccentric guy with a lot of drugs and a lot of money. Like I'm not watching a period piece, and instead a story about every Hollywood producer in 1981. And sure, he might be a genocidal madman, but he is so good at lovemaking that Miriam no longer wants him dead, so she kills the assassin. The world must keep the powerful bedroom thrust of Caligula. Even he looks confused. Yeah, you know I'm that good. But if they're gonna be together, he has to get rid of her real-life husband. It would be easy to think they're behind the assassination attempt, but we know who the real mastermind of this conspiracy is. No! Definitely the baby. As for the others, Caesar will force them into a palace game of Will It Fit with a spear. Sadly, it fits. He orders entire families killed too. What the hell? This is all her fault. She could have easily killed this guy and stopped all of this, but I am that good. Even the bodyguard seems disappointed in her.
Your friends have all been killed.
They weren't my friends, and I saved the Emperor's life.
It's the untold story, all right. The story of sociopaths in love. When it shows Caligula's reflection in a pool of blood, I am reminded of how our video store had this movie. Nope, not in the back room, but just on the shelf so I could rent this adventure film from Family Video at any age. Nothing wrong with that. Everyone of all ages needs to see the outstanding performance of David Houghton. Houghton was an exploitation movie treasure. An Irish stage actor, this dude brought electricity no matter what time period the movie was set in. MST3K fans may know him as the villain from the Ator movie Cave Dwellers. I'm shocked they went with that D'Amato movie and not this one. Plus, again, he was the egomaniacal director in Soavi's Stage Fright, one of the most underrated slasher movies of the 80s. At the time, reviews for this movie weren't that great, but they've gotten a little positive over the years, as it's considered to easily be the best of the Caligula knockoffs. A lot of praise was given to Houghton's wild performance, where he just looks like a guy driven insane from a lack of sleep, and that the movie plays along like a bizarre fever dream from a maniac. It's easy to get absorbed by the avant-garde nature of the film, with Caligula being haunted by literal demons of his past. The movie is way more ambitious than your typical Caligula ripoff. And while Guccione's has many sequences where you can tell there was a lot of competing visions behind the scenes, and many scenes just assembled in the editing room, D'Amato's feels through and through like it's his and Eastman's vision. Some shots you're not sure if you're watching a Caligula knockoff or a Hamlet porno. Regardless, you're still getting great performances.
Do you think, as the rest of them do, that I'm an insane murderer?
You have murdered half of the Empire, so yes. This is like what a fake Caligula play would be like on Friends if it starred Joey Tribbiani as the lead. Why is it a love story now? Have we so soon forgotten the literal horseplay? Now I feel like I'm watching the naughtiest cut of Oliver Stone's Alexander. Wait till she finds out he's already married Caesonia and is banging his sister. Just kidding, they're not mentioned in this film. No pun intended, Joe D'Amato hardcore wants this to be his Shakespearean tragedy, full of nightmares, doomed romances, and revenge. Never mind Macbeth and Othello when you can have lines like this.
The woman is a slave. The Emperor of Rome cannot marry a slave. No law will permit such a thing.
Again, you're talking to a man who has banged his sister. Ain't nothing gonna stand in the way of their wedding. That's why she's offering her Jesus fish to her god, the fantastic Mr. Fox. Hell, the bodyguard still offers her a chance to escape, and she still refuses because, yeah, Caesar may have bashed a baby against a wall, but that's just because he loves too much. And who doesn't love the soul of a tortured artist? Hence these ongoing poetic dream sequences. She can be one of his models, like I'm watching a lost Rick Springfield music video. The more it goes on, it finds ways to get even more Shakespearean. Look, even Caligula himself has been cast in Julius Caesar, where ironically he's playing Brutus. He's gotta stab something. What? No! Soavi's dead? And he just finished his draft of The Devil's Daughter. Who on earth did this?
Please forgive me.
Clitzia!
Oh, Clitzia. Alright. Having that name is punishment enough, I guess. Really, it's the honesty that keeps these two together. She tells him the truth that she's there to avenge her friend who he murdered.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Caligula was excellent at murder, but terrible at lying. He needs a distraction by immediately asking Lloyd for a cameo.
And now it's time for Lloyd's Out of Context 911 Lone Star Clip of the Week.
Hey! 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 I need help!
Yeah, well, at least he's not cold anymore.
We're back with this bizarre movie. One minute she's comforting him, then we're back in dreamland, as this guy is hunting the clan again. If everyone wants to kill Caligula, why are they so bad at it? They want him dead so much, he even turns into his own assassin. This movie is deep, ass spear deep. I'm fairly certain even the narrator turns into a character here.
Caligula, don't go on. Stop.
If that's God, he sounds like he couldn't care less if Caligula makes it.
Turn back. Turn back, Caesar.
I mean, come on, Caesar. You're making things difficult. If he keeps going, it's gonna be really awkward when you're haunted by Ghost Baby. This movie does get a little creepy at times. What in the hell kind of joint did Eastman and D'Amato smoke before they wrote this? No, not like this, not like this. It's about time the real story is being told of Caligula possibly being laughed at to death. Like it's a zombie movie where the living dead have a terrific sense of humor. Just as long as he kills his true love in the dream and not in real life, he'll be fine when he wakes up.
I'm still alive! I'm still alive.
I, Caligula Caesar, command in the name of the Senate. Oops. This tragic death scene has left Caesar very sad, which sets the senators up for more gossip. Did you hear? He killed her in his sleep. Her gown made her look so fat. Though nothing like waiting till the last few minutes of the movie to introduce Claudius.
Yes, Caesar, even your Uncle Claudius.
That's not Claudius, that's Senator Tobey Maguire, you jackass. It's weird seeing a Caligula movie with a redemption arc. He no longer wants to be a god. He's canceled all of his evil project, as he appears to have been humbled and wants to be a good emperor. But he still dies at the end. You may think Caligula was assassinated during the Palatine Games, but no. Shot with an arrow by the killer reveal, where his dying words were, I knew it was you all along. I saw it in my dreams. Then God said, fine, I suppose it's over, I guess. I told him to turn back. You can tell D'Amato put so much effort into this movie, he had enough left over to make another Caligula movie in '97. Between the violence, which is actually pretty disturbing, and with great effects, the sleaze factor that's on par with Tinto Brass and Guccione, only with an extra layer of Vaseline on the lens to make it even greasier and sleazier, and David Haughton's magically over-the-top and theatrical performance, it is the best of these rip-offs and feels like the director did want to make a real movie, leaving me not surprised that I could easily find this at a video store back in the day. But it's time we send this tape off to get an STD test as we open up the Tox box to find out the choices for next week's episode. Let's see. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I guess that one is even looking forward to that Netflix movie. Right. Phantasm. I think this one's been in the poll more than Windy City was. Madman. Well, that's the twist. Caligula may have died, but there's still another madman waiting around the corner. And of course, the fourth choice, something short of paradise. So click on the link in the description or go to patreon.com/thecinemasnob to cast your vote. Now I'm going to put the tape back on the shelf so it can make the other tapes fight to the death.
All of you.
Go!